to play for Carlton Well Jones, you know, because he had a W on his cheek of his bum.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, so that's why it's called Wow.
Is that really a true story?
Yeah,
I think
it
so.
is. It is true.
Percy Jones, eh?
Yes.
He's the one that...
No, it wasn't Percy Jones. It
No,
was
Wow.
the big,
The ruckman.
big tattooed bloke.
Yeah, ruckman, and he kicked the post one day when he was in
No,
Free
that's
Hill.
Percy. No,
Oh,
that's
that's
Percy
different
Jones.
one Percy. It was the other bloke.
Okay. Reece Jones.
No, I can't think of his name. Was it Well Jones? It was
Was it
one of
Percy
them anyway.
Jones?
Oh, there you
It was
go.
one of the Jones boys, isn't it?
Little Jim. Now look, Gary, I mean, you're synonymous with the great football stories, but is there a bigger story than race 9 at the Dogs the other night when we backed in True Blue?
Oh, I
Dave, you
saw
should have
that.
seen it come home. Finished 4th.
Yeah, that was didn't pay much, did it, Tommy?
No,
So,
they weren't paying out for 4th, but good night at the Dogs for Payneham, and let's get on to Payneham, because we've had you in before, mate. We've talked about, obviously, your legacy through Norwood and all of that, so, I mean, unless you want to...
No, I think the history speaks for itself. But it was interesting on the footy show the other week. They were talking about the greatest players that never made AFL or never went to AFL, and Macca's was at the top of the tree
There you go.
doing that. And
Loyalty.
well, we've got to
surprising.
remember there was about 15,000 players that never got the opportunity to go to the AFL because it wasn't around back in their day. So I'm
Yeah.
sure there would have been
It was
plenty others.
VFL days, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know, I think we get a little bit carried away pumping up the VFL. But remember, they were broke and they needed clubs from
Yeah.
interstate to prop them up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was the main reason why you didn't go over there, mate? Loyalty to Norwood?
Well, I was probably brought up in an era that was, was still pretty loyal about what you did. I think it wasn't until about 85, I think 86, when probably that whole group of South Australians went, you know, the Plattons and the
Bradley
Kernahan, you know, that motley, they all went around the same time, and that was probably when they started to leave. But again, Norwood had looked after me, and I'd been...
It would have been bigger bucks going over there.
well, I don't know, because I never ever spoke money, so I didn't have to...
That may be that's the problem.
Never
mate.
had
Maybe you
temptation.
should have said, as long as you got 6 figures, I'm
6 figures back then was
as a
more than
starting point.
Yeah. Oh, look, you know, the game now, you know, it's a bit of... Back in my day, the money really was irrelevant, but it's become a bit of a game of greed, and it probably starts at the top, doesn't it? So,
What's
but it was
interesting
good. It was good to see Mark Jamer, you know, in the
Mark
AFL.
Jamer,
Yeah, Jamer, who's stayed at Melbourne, and you know, if you were looking to play in a premiership, you wouldn't have think that they're going to be in the next 5 years play there, but he showed a bit of loyalty, so maybe it's creeping back.
It was interesting, Michelangelo Rucci talking on radio the other day about loyalty and the money that's thrown around, and let alone just in terms of amateurs, in country football, there's players on 3 and 4 grand a game, you know, and I know Fab's on 4, but what he gave to the club at Yarrawonga was pretty big as well. But Barry Hall asked for the game to be changed, so he had media commitments on the Saturday. He wanted to change to the Sunday. I thought to myself, you gherk.
But there you go, Slaughter. You know, how long is it?
Yeah.
Is it, what is it, 3 years? Is it 10 years? You know, I think Slaughter can be a short period as well. You know, we had Jim West come to our footy club and was only there for 2 years, but you know, he became a real Norwood person. Played in the grand final there. So
was he from Glenelg?
yeah, come from Glenelg. You know, played for Sydney a little bit as well. So yeah, how long is
How
Slaughter?
do you feel about the guys that ex-AFL or ex-SANFL guys go and do one-off games? Like Mickey O'Loughlin, great footballer, but just did the one game for Salisbury North, kicked 5 goals and that was it.
Yeah, and Fred Bassett went and played for Dudley United on Kangaroo Island, and we've got Ackermanis now, who's playing every state.
He played for Pulteney as well, Freddie Bassett. Or was that
Did he?
Nathan?
Might have deserted Nathan, yeah.
Didn't we have Lilo Lewis a couple of years ago? Played 2 of the worst
Dale
games
Lewis, yeah,
of the
no, he
season.
played a few more, but that was actually, we had Louis not playing as a marquee, we had him actually there to play.
Yeah.
So until he got injured, which knocked him around a bit. But at our club, no, I don't think we'd go down that path while I'm there. Obviously someone else is there.
I've
But
just had a view of it. That you come in for one game. It's unfair to the players that play all year. I mean, Mickey O, great footballer, but he's come and kicked 5 goals. They played Henley. If they had got over the line by a few goals,
But they
you put it
didn't,
down to him. But if they did, they got over the line by him. Rue's another one that played for Pulteney. Only played enough games. PAC, sorry. Played enough games to qualify for the finals. They won the grand final against CBC by 6 goals 5. This is a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And
But he played
Rue
a year
kicked
after
6
that as
goals
well.
5. No, he didn't.
Because they lost the grand final against Old Iggy's. And Roo played that day.
Did he?
He did. But anyway.
Oh, I don't mind him playing for the season, but
Yeah.
this one-off game,
I think
I
Roo played
just
about
think it's unfair.
6 years, so you can't be too critical of Roo. I thought it was alright. Gary, I want to ask you a question from the Stephen Kernahan special. It's not actually about you. Something he said that caught my ear, and I haven't had a chance to ask you. He said that had Peter Motley not have been so tragically injured, he would have been better than Craig Bradley. Now, you played against them both.
Did played on Craig Bradley a number of times. He had a big engine, Craig Bradley, so he was pretty hard to play on. He was a little bit more outside, and I was probably more of an inside player. Peter Motley could play anywhere. He could play across the back, in the midfield,
Could
up
fly
forward,
as well, couldn't he?
take a beautiful mark. And you think of players that look like they are doing it in a different speed of time. He was one of those players who looked like he was. I always liken players to like Mark Ward when he played cricket.
Yeah.
He just looked like he had so much time and that ball coming 100
It's
miles
like
an hour. here, so.
Pendlebury's like that at the moment, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
He seems to have so much time to get rid of the ball, but he takes long strides, but he's just so relaxed.
Yeah, those players, they're the ones they sort of get under your guard. They're deceptive in how they move and they cover ground quickly and they don't look like they're doing it.
Alright,
Yeah.
nice little, I love the word segue, nice little segue to the players you've seen in Division 3, not necessarily, let's not tell them all the Payneham players that are like that, but what players from other teams have you seen this year that seem to move at a pace that doesn't actually befit Div 3 football, better than the game itself?
Oh, I bet I can tell you which club.
I think Alex Carey, who's he's obviously played at a fair level. He's a pretty talented player, so he's probably the one.
What about Molyneux last week? What was he like, Central's boy?
Probably didn't have as good a game as the other fella that played for him was very good for him.
Nick Pearce? The
No,
Ruckman?
the midfield. He's not the midfielder. Number 14 name just eludes me now.
Whelan?
Yeah, Whelan it was. I think.
Yeah, he's
Whelan.
a big body boy. As well.
Yeah, Whelan was very good for him and probably overshadowed. I think it's Charlie, isn't it? Charlie. Yeah, overshadowed him. But they've got a good midfield.
Kilburn,
so.
I've tipped them playing the grand final. Despite losing the 3 points, I think they've got a good blend.
Brilliant.
They move the ball. I watched the place Smosh Westlakes. McCallum, Parks, Howson. Gee, as soon as they got the ball, the delivery was great into them, and they were just drilling.
Yeah, the little fella that plays up forward, the leading goal kicker, he's a bit deceptive too, isn't he?
McCallum.
He's a
Who'd we
deceptive
end up putting on him that day?
I think we started off with young Edo on him, and I think then Neil Roberts went on to him for a while and played on him and done a pretty good job.
And he kicked 3, so...
Yeah, he kicked 3, but he dropped a lot of sitters actually that day, so he probably should have a bit more scoreboard.
Yeah. Look, some of the things that I was reading during the week in a different publication, not as good as this one I guess, but about the young stars of Payneham. People that probably don't realise that you've coached a lot of those young guys coming through the ranks, and now you're coaching the 18s, but there's an absolute list. Just run through some of the names of some of the young kids at Payneham that are coming through.
I just actually look at how we've sort of changed our whole structure. We've changed our back 6 because the first 8 weeks of our season, our back 6 contained 5 blokes that had played 20 games or less. So that was, Tommy Clark, Edwards, Neil Roberts, Bottrell, and Dion Costanzo. So we've had a very young back line. We just thought that we needed to change that. So we took a few blokes out of the midfield. Cheney and Zurikov, we just need to get them in defence. So, but there's a young fella called Ericsson who's only 15. He's a little fella.
Has he played those yet?
Yeah, he's played a couple of games now, and he'll play again today. And he's got a bit of motor. And a lad called Christian Brookno who's taken some good steps forward. And another lad who's going to be a very good player, who'll play about his 4th game today, is a lad called Ryan Finlay, who plays on the wing. All those young kids are really good. It's important that we've got enough experience around them to help them. But also we've got a good 4 that are out sitting injured at the moment with Burkhart, Brimacombe, Nunn, and Grant's got an exam today. So
I think the big one for me is Brimacombe. He's the big loss that sets us back. He's our Mr. Fix-It, isn't he? He can go anywhere.
Yeah, and he's a bit like Ty Watkins, probably a little bit more mobile than Ty Watkins, but Ty Watkins is playing several positions, and he's only playing his 2nd game back from 10 weeks out. So, we get Brimacombe back in a couple of weeks, and that might shore us up a little bit more in the defence.
Because Ty Watkins, he broke his wrist against bloody Portland, didn't he?
Yeah, he's broken something in every last 3 years in every trial game. So he's told me no more playing in trial games because he misses out.
I went and watched the Kilburn and Smosh Westlakes last time they played, and their full back, Luke had him at full back in the first quarter. then at full forward the second quarter when they went with the wind, and he's a gun.
Is that
He's
Nichikowski or?
a police officer, I believe.
Okay, there's a few of them.
But he's a big guy, about 6'4", I reckon he is, but strong. He runs through packs, very much like
Well, you've got
yourself.
him today.
Oh, he might meet the big jolly who's 6'4", and weighs about 120.
Is that who you
Yeah.
call
The situation.
the situation?
Yeah, I didn't make that up. But there are some names you're going to need to watch today, obviously. Is there anyone else on the radar? I mean, Marnie on the wing, he's lightning quick. So
Yeah, we've got a bit of speed. I think we've got a bit of speed. Look, there's no doubt this is a real big game for us because they're 6 wins, we're 5, and we've got to play away. We haven't been beaten away this year, so we've won all our games away. So that's been a good thing for us. I don't like to actually go out there and earmark players. I like to see how the game sort of pans out a little bit to begin with, and then if you can see someone starting to get a little bit out of control, that's the person you've got to hit. So
obviously one of the strengths as a player and as a coach has been your ability to read the play. So it's something you probably can't afford to do, whereas other coaches will go in with so many set plans.
yeah, well, you can. I think sometimes, and we all can be accused of it, is playing the game before it actually happens because I reckon nothing ever pans out the way you want it to in games. You want to do rotations, and all of a sudden in the first half you've got no bench left because of injury, and that's another thing. We must look at probably adding another player to our benches. Hopefully the SANFL might look at that and see if, because I think a lot of teams have been caught with it this year where they haven't had that extra player, and it hurts you. Hurts you greatly.
Now, you certainly need flexibility as a coach, and let's talk about some of those players that require you to have that said flexibility. Let's talk about Dave Aston to start with.
Oh look, Dave is a bit of a character, and you've got to have these sort of blokes around the club. Everyone can't be all like communist style.
You're the one that first labelled him the barometer. You honestly believe that he is the measuring stick for when he's up and about, Payneham?
Yeah, and he's coming back from fair injury as well, a broken wrist and that as well. So we've had a few that have been out for a long term, but when Dave's up and going, he sort of does drag a few along because he's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And he likes to have a bit of a chat, and I think that's what is good for the lads because they have a bloke he will give it to the opposition, and he's got a bit of jocularity about him as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So give it out, and he'll take it as well.
Oh yeah, no, he's a giver and a taker.
Yeah. No, he doesn't mind.
A bit like you, Tommy.
Yes, that's right.
Giver and taker.
Both ways, yeah.
Anyone. With that G-string up on the bench at Payneham Norwood Union Footy Club.
William Colias, is William playing today? Billy?
Yeah, Billy will. Look, Billy's getting a bit long in the tooth. The thing about Billy is we've got to remember that he's a value for touches player. I think he's not a bloke that's going to get you 25, 30.
Economy of possession.
Yeah, but if he gets 10 possessions, there's a fair chance he's going to kick 3 goals. So we've got to, the things we've got to keep weighing up. He's not moving as quick as what he used to be able to travel. So sometimes players start going past you, and Billy's got to make sure he keeps performing.
Is Jed Pfeiffer still alive?
Oh, he's recovering from whiplash, from the first game.
Went down
that
hard
was,
on his head, didn't he?
Yeah, and it did knock him around, and also changing jobs and all that sort of stuff too, has attributed him to not making his way back. But I think we'll see him a little bit in the next couple of weeks.
Any truth in the river you're going to put on the boots?
Oh, no way, no. I haven't got any boots.
So you told me that you're trying to score because you're on 6 and 2, that you want to score Macca to come
It's
and
not
play.
just came out one, hasn't it? No, man, don't make
That's
things
what
up.
you said off air.
So you're officially retired indefinitely?
Oh, and you never say never.
Because
I never say never, but
That'd be a Legends game for Brave Hearts or Little.
So who was the last person that ever coached you, Gary?
probably you, Tommy, I reckon.
What a way to go out! Going out on top.
And with distinction, I think. I think we got beaten at Broadview Oval, I think.
No, it was at our place, but Broadview
was
did
it?
beat us by 12
Yeah,
goals.
West McDermott
They won the
Foundation
premiership.
game. You'd play in that, wouldn't you, if that came up?
If I was the coach.
Oh, look, again, if you're asked, it's
Just
pretty
the
hard to
body.
knock back charity work, and it's a fun day, so for a good cause and for enjoyment.
You end up in the flank alongside of Grenfell.
Wouldn't that have some pace?
Oh, would it? Wow.
There wouldn't be much room for anyone else.
Yeah.
Now, Scott Rodney Doreen, you're great, mate, coaching the Bees. Tell a lot of people who are listening wouldn't know about the relationship between you and Scott. Tell us about the relationship between you and Scott.
Well, it's not sexual. So
Well,
that's the
thank
first
you
thing
for
I'd
that.
like to get.
Played the warning already, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, Scotty Doreen, he played 50 odd games for Sydney Swans back in the Halcyon days with Lockett and Lewis and all
72, I
them.
reckon.
No, not this far back. No, it was 54, I think.
No, oh, was it?
We'll check the records.
Yeah.
But it originally come from Norfolk in Tasmania, and
Yep.
was a very good player over there. And then played 115 games for Norwood, I think, as well.
Yep.
And just a great fellow with good coach of young players.
Yep.
He's got a great temperament. Probably should be coaching somewhere else, but he won't listen. I keep telling him that
Probably
enough
should
him.
be A-grade kid.
He should be, and but I think he just likes the environment at Payneham, and
It is a great place to be. Yeah.
It's good if
it
you've
can
got
be.
someone like that. It's just loyal to the club and is happy in the environment.
We've got that many juniors
He's
at
got
the
a
moment as
mate
well.
that's
He's
coaching
a
the
great
A's.
mentor for these young kids, and I mean, he's probably taken on all the lessons of his last coach, was me as well. So, no, Scotty, he's really one of the icons of the club, really, and yeah.
That's a good plan because you've got experienced top 2 coaches, then they fall away after that.
I'm not coaching the Seas anymore, mate. We've got. the
Boy,
great
you don't
Martin
slander Martin Hamilton like
He
that.
will hunt you down and kill
He'll
you.
be ringing up. Oh, look, Marty does a great job. He's pretty. Yeah, Marty's pretty aggressive in how he wants his players to go about it. And we sacked, or I shouldn't say sacked him. We actually replaced him with Scott Doreen from the reserves. He was the reserves coach. We replaced him with Scott Doreen, which he took in his stride pretty well. Probably his wife didn't take it as good as what he did.
Gave him the under-6 job, didn't we?
And then he coached juniors for a year or two, and then the C grade job came up after Tommy vacated it, and Marty said, I'm keen to do it again in the C grade. So I think that's a show of a good club man as well.
So there's a good relationship with the selection night between the 3 coaches.
Yeah, look, there's some friendly banter and there's some aggressive chat about things as well. So
That's good.
you've got to have it.
Yeah. A few people sitting on that table of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heads.
And where's all the entourage that was coming this morning with you?
Yeah,
Tommy was
where's
going
Dylan?
on about all the
I was going to let Gil put some music on and scratch it up.
Oh, yeah, you might have had music you didn't want to listen to. Yeah, he likes a bit of that rah, rah stuff, you know. So.
That's it.
That wasn't bad.
What's it? Black
Black Sabbath?
No, not Black Sabbath. What's it?
Bit out of
Heavy
his
metals.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Oh, I think
But
yeah.
let's get on to today's games. 'Cause we've
Yeah.
got the expert in the studio.
Well, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, we're
And
around.
Pembroke and Mitcham, you would think Mitcham would win that fairly convincingly. What do you
Yeah.
reckon?
Well, exams today. A lot of exams today, so I don't think there'll be too many Pembroke blokes.
That's the reason.
They'll miss a few. I don't know whether Mitcham would have too many blokes that would be doing exams today, but
No, the Wolves are closed.
yeah. So Pembroke, pretty dangerous side. Pembroke, when they get those 2 big fellas, the Pinckneys in their side, I think they're pretty dangerous. And
They pushed a few higher teams.
they will, but this competition, the difference between, maybe Paraka are a little bit off the pace, but the other teams, there's not much gap between them.
Yeah, no. So now Pembroke have had some heartbreaking. They must have lost 5 games by under 2 goals.
We got beaten by 4 points, I think, to Athelston
Yep.
last start, so
Yep.
we beat them by 10 points the week
Yeah.
before.
And you would have played with their coach, Starisky?
Yeah, played with Barty, who was a very good player. I think he went to North Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yep. And
That's right.
played 1 game at Collingwood as well.
Did he?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay.
Do you mind
Kilburn.
if I give a tip on the game, David?
I thought you did.
No, I didn't.
I thought you said Pembroke.
No, Mitcham I tell you what, after a slow start, sorry Gary, but we almost kick-started their season, didn't we? They came down to our game, placed 0-2 and beat us by 8 goals, maybe 0-3 even, beat us by 8 goals, or 1-2. But anyway, and they've looked good since then. Good young midfield.
Got some big units playing for them too.
Yeah, they're
Quinn, who's a monster.
Yeah.
Kilburn and Athelston, be a good game, but I still like Kilburn. Losing 3 points is a big
They lost 6 points.
incentive
Yeah.
for Jamie to get the guys playing well.
Certainly.
And I think they'll beat Rocky's boys.
Certainly has galvanised. I talked this one up a little bit on the TV show. It's the battle of the Mound Men versus the Stoners. The 2 very big supporter groups. It'll be great to be out at Blair Athol today.
It
Kilburn.
won't be a 25-36 win.
No, but Kilburn have won their last. You don't think it'd be a bit closer than that? Kilburn won their last 3 in a row and are on a roll. And someone's going to stop them eventually, but I don't think it'll be Athelston today. It's going to be a great battle in the midfield. Looking at the midfield battle, we've got. We talked about the Kilburn midfield already. The Parks boys, you mentioned Wheel and Macca, Molyneux, and big the neck licker, Nick Pearce in ruck.
The helicopter.
He's down back. And for Athelston, you've got Mini-Me Rossi and a few other boys, Motley, working through there. Mount Grossman up forward. Should be great.
Wilman, who's pretty dangerous little forward.
Yeah.
He's a forward, isn't he?
Yeah.
Little forward, yeah. Little footer.
I think for mine, Kilburn should be able to get the chocolates at home.
This is Kilburn?
Yeah, I've got it 1 to 12.
Yeah, I think Kilburn will win down there. Not by much, you know. Rocky's got Athelston going along nicely. They started off a little bit slow with Athelston, but they've got a bit of momentum going along now.
I watched them play Salisbury a while back, and they just hammered it.
Yeah, they smashed
and they
Salisbury,
played
didn't
really well on that big oval. At Salisbury, played really good footy. Paraka Seaton, you would have to think Seaton would be a lay-down misère for that one, by around about 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, Seaton, first of 4 games on the road for Seaton, so this will test them all out. Talk about ageing bodies of Seaton, but they're sitting top 6 and 2, still doing everything right. And Jason James in tremendous best and fairest winning form again, so I think Seaton will be far too strong for Paraka. I reckon by 10 goals.
Yeah, you feel a little bit for Paraka because if you talk, I think they've had 4 blokes who've gone down with knees and really hurt them. And you know, Ronnie Rankin's probably struggled a little bit this year as well. So
not kicking straight. So.
Yeah, they've been advertising in the local paper for players as well.
So they've been hurt a lot by injury, and you know, imagine if they were up and going as well. The comp would be jammed right up. So but Seaton should win. You know, got some good strong bodies and good movement of footy. Yep.
Now, Fuds boys against Revis at Salisbury and CBC. At Salisbury, be a good game, but I think on the bigger oval at Salisbury, I reckon CBC will win it, to be honest with you. I reckon Fudd will get those boys moving well.
Well, CBC currently sitting 6th from memory. Yep, 6, 5 and 4 and 4. If they want to stay in touch with the top 5, this is a must-win game. Salisbury have an eye on both relegation and finals, sitting at 3 and 5. Pembroke hunting them down at 2 and 6. So
it's injury time. There's a few injuries for the first half of the season.
They've had a break though. I think CBC will should be able to get the job done.
Well, CBC, it depends on how many got exams as well. You know, a lot of the college teams do have blokes that are going. We've got a few blokes that go to uni as well. So, like I say, we lose Gray Grant today with studies with exams. So, but look, that game could be a lot closer out at the Salisbury than
I reckon it's probably the hardest one to tip of the round.
Yeah, I think so. We played Salisbury, and I didn't mind. I think they've got some really good big units and some quality little midfielders as well. So, it won't be easy.
Well, it depends if Jay Mansfield's playing. As Jay usually he's 3 or 4 goals, and Liam Short.
He's the high flyer, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's got a sus knee, and you've got Liam Short, who's usually good for 2 or 3 goals.
He was there. He kicked a couple as well on the weekend. Yeah, last week.
So you just don't know. And then you've got Justin McPherson, Emma, the Clags' #1 man.
Yeah, the skip.
You know, if he's having a go, and Scotty as well. They've got some good players out there, Salisbury, but you know, this time of the year, now a few guys are getting a bit sore.
Alright, let's get on to the game of the round. It's at Smosh West Lakes today. It's Smosh West Lakes Lions against the Payneham Norwood Union Falcons. It's a big one. I'm heading out to Smosh for the footy trip on Tuesday night, so it's imperative you win this one, please, Gary. Look, a lot of good young players at Smosh. I talked about John O'Mahony. He's lightning quick. Blake George was recently ranked in the top 20 players in the league, so he's obviously quite talented. I think it is going to have to be the young guys who are going to have to give us a big lift today if we're going to get over them. I'm going to tip Smosh West Lakes just to show you how impartial and what a great broadcast journalist I am. I'm going with Smosh West Lakes in a close game, but obviously clearly barracking for the Falcons. David, your thoughts?
Yeah, based on the premiership table, you'd have to go for Smosh West Lakes because they are sitting second. However, things have been known to happen, and I think I might just have a crack at Payneham. I reckon they need this win.
Good boy.
Just to get in
you
the fight.
sucked up to Gary, but good boy.
Well, Greenie, you'll be allowed back in the club. I know someone that won't be.
Payneham lose this one, we're probably going to drop out the 5, so it's a big one.
Oh yeah, this is a big game. No doubt about that. And actually, it's strange. You know, you get halfway through the year, and I sit here, and you'd think that you'd be a little bit more stable in what you've got and all that. And I actually sitting there and going, we've changed a fair bit over the break, and I don't know what we're going to get. So yeah, it's going to be a bit.
It's
different
very hard. This time of the year, it's halfway through the season. There's a few niggles, sore spots, and some guys have got injuries. They're just not getting over it because it's the winter, the cold training nights. Go down to about 5 degrees at Payneham Norwood, I would say, on a training night, Tuesday and Thursday. So
probably.
Yeah, you would know because you don't train, but things are happening at the moment. So yeah, that's why I'm going for Payneham. I think they've got a lot more riding on it than what Smosh have.